So we're now successfully listing out these cards from our Redux states. But if we click on one of these, and we're still going to get that name from the React router, we are getting whatever the route parameter is. But ideally, we want to receive the actual data from the Redux state. We want to show each individual user and the data that belongs to the user that is inside the Redux store. So let's do that. Now, instead of showing that route parameter, what we're going to do now is go over to our card.js component and show the data inside of the Redux store. Now we're getting that data over here inside the app.js, and we're getting the data from the React router and showing it in the browser. So what we want to do is connect this component to our Redux store and get that individual card to show on the page. But first of all, let's comment out all of that stuff, and we don't want to use it, or maybe you just want to delete it if you wish. I'm just going to comment out the component did mount. We don't need that anymore. And we don't need that state object. And let's also comment out this variable to. All right, so now that we've already seen how we can connect a component to Redux, so first of all, we will import the connect from React Redux. And let's say import connect from React Redux. And then down here, we want to use that higher order component. And it's a function which returns a higher order component and wraps our card component. And then we need to create the function to map our state to props. So we'll say const and then map state to props. And we're taking the state right here, and inside that function, this is where we want to grab that individual card. Okay, so how can we do that? All right, so right here, we can take a second parameter, and we can call it ownProps, like so. And this refers to the props of this card component. So our ownProps right here, they're going to contain information about the route parameters. And we can grab the route parameter from the route, and then what we're going to do is use that route parameter to find the particular card that we want to connect to from the Redux store. So first of all, let's use those prompts to grab the route parameter. So I'll say let title equal to ownProps.match.params.user, and this is where we get the information about the route parameters. Now, hopefully you remember we covered those in some of the previous tutorials. The route parameter that we want is just called user, because inside our app.js right here, it was called user. And then when we set up the route, we're grabbing that route parameter right here, whether it's Alex or Wilma or whatever it is, and we're storing it in this title over here. So now what we want to do is return the object. And remember, inside of here, we're going to write what we want to apply to our props for this component. So we want an individual card, and that is going to be equal to the state.cards that we received from the Redux store. So then we want to find one individual card to show on the browser. And to do that, we'll use the find method. And this is just a normal JavaScript method. Now inside of here, what we're going to do is check if the card.title is equal to the title of these things. So this is going to cycle through the cards on the state object, and it's going to look at the title of each one. And if that title matches this one, If that is true, then it's going to return that card. Because, hey, we're the programmers. That's what we want it to do. All right, so this function takes each card as a callback. And then inside, we're just returning card.title is equal to title. So this function is the same thing that we've done previously. So let me just show it to you real quick. So it's the same thing with that. So we put here parentheses and then curly braces, and then we return this right here and then close the curly braces. So I've just shortened it up right here, and you can do that when you just have one line to return. All right, so let's get rid of that again and move it back here. So if this is true, then we're going to return that card, and it's going to be stored right here. Then lastly, let's put the map state to props function here as our first argument. All right, so now what we could do is get that card and show it on the browser. So inside of here, I will say const and put a set of curly braces. Then I will say title, and the body is equal to, and then I will get that inside of this .props.card. And because we've attached that card object to the props right here, so we are grabbing the body and the title inside the card props. Remember this one? And I'm going to put title instead of user right here. And then just underneath it, I will open up a p tag. And then inside of it, I will place the body like so. All right, so we've done that now. So let's save it and view this in a browser. All right, so everything looks good. So let's click on one of these and see what we can see. Here's the Alex card. So let's go back again, and this time we'll click this one, and we can see Wilma. So let's go back and click this one. All right, so that's working as we expected. So, all right, so now that it's all working, let's celebrate. All right, not yet, we're not done. Just kidding. I mean, I'm glad for you. Congratulations. But let's review. So to sum it up, we've connected this card component to our Redux store using this connect function. And we found that individual cards that we want using the find method and the route parameter right here. Then we've applied that to a card object on our props so that we can use that card object on our props to output the data to the screen right here. All right, so that's all for this. So we'll take a break right now, and we'll come back in the next section. I'll see you there.